In this video, I'm going to look at the details of entering content into the WordPress editor. This is for posts and pages and is sometimes used in other areas as well. It's this area right in here, this big box on the Add New Post screen, same one on the Add New Page screen. The reason this is important is this is the primary area where your clients are going to be working, and it's got some little quirks and little tips that you need to know about that you can pass along to them. That's what we're going to cover in this video. I won't be dealing with the Upload Insert menu up top here. This is for images and documents. I'll do that in a separate video. Right now we're basically going to be dealing with text. And this text editor, as it were, has two modes, visual and HTML. And as the name suggests, in HTML mode, you're going to see the HTML coding. In visual mode, it looks like a word processor. Your clients are primarily going to be wanting to work in visual mode. For yourself, you'll probably want to work in HTML mode. So in your profile, under Users, just click on your profile, there is actually a checkbox here, Disable the Visual Editor when you're writing. And then that way, it never actually comes up. Now, you want to be careful about what you put in there, because if it's something your client's going to be working with as well, they may be going into visual mode and that may destroy the code. So you have to think about that as well. Let's look at visual mode then. There's this button bar. We've looked at this briefly before. And over here on the right is the toggle switch for bringing up a second level of the button bar. On this second level are some very useful buttons. The ones up here tend to be for formatting. Let's put in some text and you'll see what I mean. You just highlight some text and you can bold it, for example, and the visual editor shows you what it looks like. There's also a very useful button here, the list button. I'm just going to make ourselves a bit of a list here. So if I grab all these and highlight them and then I go like this, I can create a list very simply that way. So we can use our undo buttons here to go back to where we were. Got many levels of undo and redo, so those are handy as well down on the second button bar here. This is a very important button right here. You can see it's got a little word symbol on it. Clients, of course, love to work in Word and then just copy and paste it right in. What you want them to do is use this. When it clicked on it, it gets this pop-up window where you paste in your Word document here. When you click Insert, it strips out all the bad coding that you don't want, the formatting that's in Word. Now it will retain some basics like bolding and italics, but it's going to strip out things like fonts and font sizing and all those sorts of things. You want to get rid of that and have pretty clean text going into here, and then you work with it in the WordPress editor. A button you want to, I think, encourage clients to stay away from is this one right here. They love to color their text. So they can go in here and I'll make it red. Now you want to discourage them from that for a number of reasons, but one of the main ones is if the look of the site changes down the road, this is hard-coded into the text, the color. And maybe you don't want the red down the road. If they really have to have a color, it's possible for you, of course, to create something in a style sheet, and then they could put class or ID tags around those so that it will be formatted the way that you want it to be formatted, rather than relying on this, which hard codes everything. Another one that clients love to use, and you need to instruct them about, is this, the Dropdown Formatting. Now they see this and they go, oh, I want my text to be bigger. So they'll choose this. And yes, it does look bigger, but of course what it's doing is it's putting in H2, H1, H3 tags, which are very particular kinds of semantic styling in HTML. You don't want them to be doing that. You want them to be using this for headings. So let's undo that. And let's say they want to make this their heading. Yes, then you highlight this line and then you choose heading 2, and now I've got my heading. So you want to encourage them to use headings properly and to be using bolding in a correct way. Sometimes they'll bold everything, which we know is not great for visitors or for search engines. So there's going to be some work on your part to educate them on the use of the text editor, but that's what you can do, is help them with that. Now, one other quick tip that people quite often get confused about and isn't very obvious in here. If I hit return here, I'm going to get a new paragraph. But I don't want that. I just want a new line. All I have to do is do shift return and you get a new line. So shift return gives a new line. Simply return creates a new paragraph in WordPress. So that's a very important trick to learn. There you go. Some details about the editor. There are many other things. There are plugins, for example, that will actually change how this editor looks. There's lots of things you can work with on it, but for the basics out of the box, those are some instructions you can give to your clients.